Hi, I'm Cia Ricco, and welcome to Rancho Rico, my 200-acre paradise in Costa Rica. I love living here, and this is an oasis for couples. Of course, I work with couples in both the U.S. and in Costa Rica, but there's such a value to having people actually come away from their everyday life to get into a place that's so different, completely different from their normal everyday experience, as well as getting away from the kids and the stresses of jobs and the usual grind. So I would like to tell you a little bit about myself, as well as give you some more information about Rancho Rico here in Costa Rica as an option for you to come. I am a body-centered psychotherapist. Body-centered psychotherapy is based on the belief that feelings live in our body and that our body has its own inner wisdom that we can tap into for a sense of deep knowing, for a sense of truth that comes beyond the chattering, arguing mind and has a direct correlation with the sensations of the heart. I can teach you how to learn to listen to your own inner wisdom through your body. And in relationship, that's invaluable. Often we have just so many stories, so much baggage we carry with us, a lot of the past, a lot of rationalizations. The brain is, in fact, it's been proven, designed to rationalize. That's what it does. So we have an opportunity here to step away from that and look into a different part of ourselves. We're patient. So in addition to being a body-centered psychotherapist specializing in work with couples, I'm also an author of a book called Living as If Your Life Depended on It, 12 Gateways to a Life That Works, as well as several audio CDs, including Making Love, Sex and Relationship, and Rediscovering Female Sexuality. I'm a sex therapist as well, which of course helps in working with couples. And as well as being the director of Rancho Rico here in Costa Rica, I'm also the director of a not-for-profit organization for the benefit of young people. That's a little bit about me and my life, besides how much I enjoy living here in this small town where I'm inviting you to come to really get away from it all. This town has only about 50 people in it. In fact, we have more cows than we do horses. Our ranch is full of different kinds of animals who all play and live harmoniously together as wonderful examples for what I want to help you to do, is live more harmoniously with yourself as well as your partner and in your life in general. You may listen for a moment and hear the many birds that we have here around us. It's so beautiful to be in the presence of so much nature, and the people here. The people are so loving. It brings great joy to my heart to see couples here in Costa Rica, at least in the small town where I live, are relationships that are intact, and they set wonderful role models for people that come here. I have so many couples comment on, I've learned so much from watching these Costa Rican couples and how loving and present they are with each other. So speaking of presence, that's one of the greatest gifts that you can learn to bring into your relationship, is what I call pure presence or deep listening, the capacity to truly be with your partner. One of the greatest problems in relationship, probably arguably the greatest, is communication difficulties. A lot of that stems from the difference between the way men and women communicate with each other. Men tend to be linear thinkers. Of course, I'm speaking in generalities, so there's a spectrum. If men are on one end and women's minds are on another, most of us fall somewhere in between. For myself, I come somewhat pretty much in the middle of that way of speaking, which makes me a perfect interpreter, which is a role I often wind up playing in my work with couples. So men, as I've started to say, will think from A to B to C how to get from one place to another in a very logical or direct procession. Women, and it's scientifically shown that women's brains are actually work differently, will jump from left to right hemisphere of the brain back and forth, which is going to appear to a man to be completely illogical. And yet what women want to do is to process. When they're talking, they're not talking to have their problems solved. They're not talking to have the man fix them, whereas that is a man's general orientation, is how can I hear this problem, find a solution, and explain it to her, which is the last thing she wants. And you men may have noticed that women will often resist when you start coming up with an answer and you don't understand. Of course, why would they be resistant to your logical conclusion and your ability to help them? What they want is to be heard. Women want to be heard more than anything. So that's a tip I would love to give you to take to your relationship if you're having any challenges with your relationships personally, and to notice that that works in all areas of life as well. What does it take to be purely present, to really be there for someone, to listen truly from your heart? Why come to Rancho Rico in Costa Rica? Well, there's so many reasons. I've already mentioned a couple of them. In addition to just the environment itself that's so transformative, we have the opportunity to do any number of exciting adventure tours and many things that you can learn together in being with each other that will help you. For example, pulling together. One possible example is might take you kayaking. And you can learn to literally that you have to work together in sync in order to get somewhere in life. A perfect analogy, no? Or trust exercises where perhaps one couple will take another by the hand and lead them over uneven ground blindfolded or on horseback, where you have this wonderful opportunity to feel the movement without seeing and to let yourself relax and feel the complete confidence in your partner who's leading you. Or going to a beautiful waterfall, mountain, stream, water, and walking over the slippery rocks and feeling supported and held and guided. So many different things to do. My favorite is our sunset ceremony at our own private beach, which is deserted, and we can offer these wonderful firelight commitment ceremonies. My favorite way to end any intensive or workshops, to have you recommit as a couple, to have you speak your own true and renewed vows to each other. Now, I will be very blunt with you right from the beginning if I don't believe that the relationship is going to work. And sometimes I'll even wind up playing the devil's advocate. So I may give one or the other of you a difficult time, and that might be intentional. Sometimes by doing that, sometimes by pointing out the most challenging things or what's not working, I notice that your partner the partner that's not being given the hard time might come to the aid of the one who is. And all kinds of interesting dynamics start to happen when someone is, like myself, is very direct and will say, this is what I see, this is what I notice that you're doing, and here's what you need to do differently in order to make this work. So if you come, be prepared for the fact that I will be very direct and forthwith with you. I hope you will come. I hope you will visit me here at Rancho Rico. Come see what we're all about and take advantage of all that we have to offer. Thank you so much for tuning in and for taking a listen, and I hope to meet you in person very soon. Cia Ricco from Rancho Rico in Costa Rica.